You know, there's this invisible battle being fought all around us, every single day. It's this constant push and pull between our environment and our health. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on the amazing systems that are designed to protect us from all the hidden threats out there.
Just think about it for a second. That last glass of water you drank, it looked clear, probably tasted totally fine, but have you ever wondered what it really takes to make it safe? Let's start right there with that simple but absolutely vital question.
Okay, so first things first. We have to get on the same page about what words like safe and clean actually mean. In public health, these aren't just feelings, they're incredibly precise scientific standards.
So when we talk about safe and wholesome water, what are we really talking about? Well, it's not just about how it looks. It has to pass a 4-point check. Number 1, no disease-causing germs. Number 2, no harmful chemicals. 3, it has to taste and smell pleasant. And 4, you've got to be able to use it for everyday stuff like cooking and cleaning. If it fails on even one of those, it's technically considered polluted.
And you know, this whole idea of having a clear standard goes way beyond just water. You can almost think of our entire public health system as this series of invisible shields, all working together, all meticulously designed to stand between us and all those environmental dangers we often can't see or taste or smell.
All right, so let's zoom in on the most fundamental element of them all, water. We're going to trace its incredible journey all the way from its natural source right to your tap to really see what it takes to make it safe.
So all our water starts its journey in one of 3 places. You've got rain, which is actually the purest natural source. Then there's surface water, from rivers and lakes. And finally, groundwater, which we get from wells and springs. Now, each of these sources comes with its own set of challenges. River water, for example, is often super polluted and needs a lot of treatment.
Okay, so how do we take that water and make it safe for a whole city or town? It really boils down to 3 essential steps. First, the water is stored, and just letting it sit allows a lot of the gunk to settle out naturally. Then it's filtered, and finally, for good measure, it's disinfected to kill off anything nasty that's left.
Storage is pretty straightforward, and we'll touch on disinfection in a minute. But it's that middle step, filtration, that's really at the heart of this whole process. This is where the real work, the real magic of cleaning the water actually goes down.
On a massive scale, filtration is basically done in one of 2 ways. Over on the left, you're looking at a slow sand filter, which is this amazing biological process. And on the right, you've got the more mechanical-looking rapid sand filter. They might look a bit different, but believe me, they work in completely different ways.
Okay, and this is where it gets super cool. The rapid filter, like its name says, is way faster. We're talking up to 50 times faster, and it takes up a lot less space. But take a look at the bacteria removal rate. It's good, don't get me wrong, 98 to 99% is solid. But the slow sand filter, it gets an incredible 99.9 to 99.99%. How? Well, the secret is this slimy, living layer of algae and bacteria called the vital layer that forms right on top of the sand. This natural film is what does all the heavy lifting. It's literally nature's own cleaning crew.
So once the water makes its way through those filters, it's already incredibly clean. But to be absolutely, positively sure, it goes through one last step, disinfection. This is usually done with a little bit of chlorine, and it basically acts as the final safety net, zapping any dangerous microbes that might have somehow survived the journey.
All right, so we've got our drinking water locked down. But the threats in our environment, they don't stop there, right? Now we need to look outwards, at the other systems that protect us from disease carriers found in waste and from pests.
This diagram shows a really powerful idea called the sanitation barrier. The goal is dead simple. Stop pathogens from human waste from getting to a new person. And how do we do that? By blocking every single route they could possibly take. Through fluids, fields, flies, fingers, and finally, food. Proper sanitation literally builds a wall.
Now, a huge part of that barrier is controlling things like flies and other pests. And the technical term for these little disease-carrying organisms is a vector. It's basically any creature that can pass an infectious agent from one person to another without ever getting sick itself.
So let's take a look at probably the most infamous vector of all, the mosquito. To control it, you have to understand its 4-stage life cycle. What's wild is that 3 of those stages, egg, larva, and pupa, all happen in water, and that is its Achilles heel.
So, because their whole early life is tied to water, the single best, most permanent way to control mosquitoes is through environmental control, just getting rid of any standing water where they can breed. Of course, we also use chemicals like sprays, biological tricks like using fish that eat the larvae, and obviously personal protection like nets and repellents. But it all starts with managing the environment.
So we've journeyed from a river to a tap, from sanitation barriers to mosquito control. What's the common thread here? And what does all of this actually mean for you? Let's bring it all together.
This right here, this quote just sums it all up perfectly. Every single system we've looked at, from that amazing slow sand filter to a simple window screen, is built on one beautifully elegant principle: create a barrier. Keep the bad stuff away from people. It's such a simple concept, but it saves millions and millions of lives.
And that's really the ultimate takeaway here. These systems aren't magic. They're the result of science and really careful engineering. And by understanding how they work, you can appreciate just how important they are. You can support them in your community, and you can even play a role in making sure they work. In a way, knowledge itself is a form of protection.
So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. After seeing the incredible journey of your water and learning about all these invisible shields around you, what's one thing? Maybe it's a small puddle of water, a fly in your kitchen, or even just the next glass of water you drink that you'll look at completely differently now. Thanks for watching.